So here I'm gonna add a simple fan bone to this intermediate joint of the shin foot bones. So shin foot joint, which has the ankle joint, right? Oops. So I have a 3D animation here, but it's very simple. Just to okay, this is a bit more complex. Okay. Anyways, just for checking what we have, but. So I'm not totally satisfied with the deforms, but with just some simple wave painting and some okay mesh geometry on a low poly character, this was good enough. But we can improve this by, you see I have this mask to prevent rogue waves. So I'm gonna add this helper bone. So I have a helper bone layer here where I place all my only the helper bones. We don't need the master bones here. Yeah, so I have some ones usually on the joints, right? And so we have here to make even on the toes. Yeah, the hand. There are some. I found that it's good to have fan bones in the at least for the knuckles. It's time consuming to make for all, but that can be the bigger knuckles, right? Where the metacarpals, this bones here, which are the end up in the phalanx, right? So here we of each finger. So here we got look at the deform rig. The helper bone is also deform rig, but it's helper deform rig. I'm gonna pick exactly this bone joint here, the head of the. Put the target there, the 3D cursor, Shift A, add a bone. I'm going to make it very thin so it won't interrupt the, so I'm gonna align it, Control Alt A, parent it to the foot bone. This can create some issues because of how it will respond to this. Okay, because of the I key, all of the other setup, right? Because if you are familiar with advanced foot rig and leg rig, usually there's a splitting between the leg and the foot, and so this is in terms of parenting. And so here, this can make the bone constraints or the relations, the setup here very peculiar. It depends on the foot rig and in the relation of the foot rig with the leg rig. So in principle, it should be very simple, right? We parent it here. There'll be other ways to do this, right? Then here, this fan bone, let's give it a, I'm using this orange color for this. And well, let's make it like this so we can at least pick it. Although it's not very good to see its motion, let's do like that. Its orientation is it's aligned with the foot bone, totally aligned. So we're going to change its name. So this will be Def Fan Foot Left. We're gonna already symmetrize that. Right? So both are parented. They have no bone constraints. It's a new bone. So right now what they are doing is they are just following the foot bone. They are deformed bones, but they don't have any wave painting yet. So we're going to first make what the fan bone does is like a derotation. So it's Shift Control C here in this multi-selection. The active bone is the owner of the future bone constraint it's gonna make. Just a copy rotation in this case. It's a simple fan bone. So the idea is this derotation. This is why it's called a fan bone. It's like gonna rotate in a different ratio from the, so like here, let's do a local spaces, an inversion for all of the rotations, since the ankle here can rotate in all directions, right? It's crazy, right? It's but still an intermediate joint, right? So here usually we want a derotation of about that when the foot bone like reaches about 90 degrees rotation, I don't know, when it got an extreme, this rotation is like, okay, maybe I need, okay, here I'm confused because of the posing. Usually do let's do manual posing here. So here I want this fan bone to have a, oh, not replace, right? Well, I think I'm missing something. Oh, I think this animation, right? So let's just foot rotation. Let's delete the animation for a moment, and let's do this. And now let's, okay, add maybe. Okay, so you see the problem is happening. Probably this is not derotation. This is not doing not. Oh, yeah. So this is not doing nothing because of the something that I'm not doing correct. Okay, local with parent, right? Okay, so now it is responding correctly. So it's derotating. So but it's too much. So we want a like imagine a 15 degrees angle here. I don't know what will be the equivalent of influence, but, and so this will happen on all the rotations in principle. But you see that sometimes I saw some warping thing. Yeah, this is not good, right? Absolutely not good. So this is probably this replace, I guess. So yeah, no, it's not because of that. So here totally we'll have to find some yeah, this is not working, so let's try this. No derotation. Okay, replace and local space with on orientation, and alright, now it doesn't seem to be warping, at least not on by this control bone. Okay, this is good. Okay, so here seems to be the setup, folks, for this case. So it's parented to the foot bone, and it has got a copy rotation bone constraint, invert XYZ, because it is countering all the rotations of the foot on a certain degree of influence. 0.3 is already a lot, so but it will depend on the wave paint, it will depend on a lot of things. So, and replace, of course, and local space with orientation could be local space, I think, and local with parent, since well, using the parent. So here let's use this. All right, then for wave painting, what I can do here, there are many ways to approach this. So I can probably get, yeah, let's do manually. It's always in this case. So just add strong waves on the joint area where we want to derotate the mesh. We can add some maximum waves here and see already the results. I did add the foot rotations. All right. Okay, so you see this is too strong, so this is not good. So we're gonna maybe use some smooth here, and so we're gonna reduce here this thing, but augment the operation factor, reduce the factor, yeah, something like, yeah, maybe we want to expand just a little. No, we see that this doesn't help too much, so after we use this, let's just maybe blur this as part of this helper bone. Also, let's blur these areas around the ankle. And here as well. Leave the rest there. Here maybe we want to blur this area too. Just so there's a better curvature maybe. Here I don't see too many good results, so let's take off a little here. And in the back part maybe we keep. And so here we go. Here I'm not totally convinced what we need. Oh yeah, take off also here, so no more waves there, not too much. Here, of course, this is very... Oh, we can do that, alright. Or that. Or both, I don't know. Let's leave. So here we can use another technique, radial. Let's try to take off some, yeah, zero waves. Let's try to push there and smooth here. Maybe, yeah, let's use the mix here, maybe augment here. Shouldn't think this should be continuous, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, yeah, I can say this is looking mostly good. Let's make a test here. Should it have more or less? Maybe more on this part of the foot, right? Yes, and maybe here we can blur. And then for this part we are also gonna blur by a lot and see the results. Yeah, there's some breaking curvature there. It's very slight, very subtle. So let's just try to blur here then again. Yeah, okay, so then the last thing would be to use this and maybe pull this very slightly like that, taking some waves there, and let's reduce this a little more, and oops, here. Now let's use these zero waves maybe. Okay, so it's not super, it's not perfect, but it's looking quite good, right? So here, I'm just gonna, yeah, with the small risk of ruining our progress, but I've reduced the smoothing power here. Let's make a less check. Yeah, this seems to be good. So now let's test without the deform here, right? So this is the fan bone. Well, no, it's not this, sorry folks. So you can play with this, for example, augment or reduce the power, but more than that, yeah, so you can find what fits better here, but more than that, we can uncheck the deform property. In a case like here, so you see it's not doing a lot of progress, but let's say that if we don't have this, certain things would be a bit more strugglesome to make. In certain case this is really good. In here really it is not being super cool, but it allows a little more tweaks in the rig, so this can be helpful in many ways, and I expected more results, but I don't know, maybe the way I've been rigging the joints already it's working okay on its own, and the fan bone does, or other helper bones are just not helping that much. There will be certainly better techniques or better ways to use the technique I'm showing here, folks. So there's a highlight, another example of a simple fan bone helper bone.